As a millennial, the most disturbing thing to me on a daily basis is the blinding speed of societal decay. Like, we knew 10 or 15 years ago that the school systems were being intentionally dumbed down so that they would create people who couldn't critically think so that they could be more easily controlled. We knew that was happening. I could conceptualize that. I could go, oh, that's horrible that they're doing that. That's going to be a huge problem someday. I, for some reason, didn't ever think that was going to be happening when I was 35. I did not think that the schools would be churning out people who cannot read when I was in my mid-30s. I didn't think that the people who could not read were going to be the only people that companies could hire to deal with me when I needed to get things done. Do you understand? I didn't get that part. And maybe that's me being stupid. I should have saw it coming faster. Like, I knew that tech companies were going to become resource hounds. I knew that they were going to buy up all the technology, and it would become hard for us to have our own computers and our own technology in the way that we had it before. We knew that, right? I didn't know that a stick of RAM was going to cost $650 when I was 35. I thought it was going to be when I was 60. I was going to be looking around as an advanced age old man and thinking, wow, it's really terrible that it got here. I didn't quite realize that it was going to be right now. That's repeatedly, I look out and I go, oh, I didn't know it was going to happen this fast.
Oh my God, dude. Tell me about it. So, yeah, the school system, it was set up to create a nation of obedient workers. It wasn't meant to create a nation of critical thinkers. They don't want that, right? It's the Prussian model that was established here in the United States over a century ago. Children were never meant to spend that much time in a building. They were never meant to spend 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 10 months out of the year for 12 years of their life in a freaking building with fluorescent lighting. There's a reason why schools and prisons look alike, why they're structured so similarly. They're fed the same slop, right? When you're in school, your movements are manipulated by bells, right? The Pavlovian thing. You have your limited recreational time out in the yard, right? In an enclosed area that you can't leave. And you must ask for permission to even take a piss. Your individuality is stripped from you. And you're reconstructed and made to conform. You're sanded down. You're conditioned to believe what the government wants you to believe so that they can have someone who is compliant and trusts them and fears them at the same time. And ultimately, they need to convert you into the interchangeable part that you are, right? You are nothing more than a mechanism of the machine. You are tax cattle meant to feed the machine and replace those ahead of you who grew too old, too sick, and died, right? Because they have to keep the machine churning, right? They have to continually replace parts. So if you read the book Dumbing Us Down by John Taylor Gatto, it will open your eyes to the fact that there is actually a hidden curriculum in this compulsory schooling, right? You can't even really call it schooling or education, right? It's indoctrination. But of course, the majority of people or sheeple, they won't read that book because most people, they don't read books. Like he was talking about, nobody reads books anymore because everyone is brainwashed. Everybody is so we live in the land of the fee, home of the brainwashed. The brainwashing industrial complex is so effective. They have created this Stockholm syndrome within 99% of us who would rather defend their own slavery than question it or even see it as slavery. It blows my mind. And what makes all of this possible is the constant social engineering going on. It's constant. The masses, they just consume and consume and consume and regurgitate. They just regurgitate without even reflecting or thinking or questioning anything that they're told. And those of us who are awake, who see through all of this, right? We are John and they live. We are in a very unique prison of our own. So that's the irony of it all.
I feel like social media made people allergic to nuance. Like, everything has to either be good or bad, right or wrong, villain or victim. There's like no middle ground. It's like we've lost the ability to say, I understand both sides, or this is a complicated topic, without people thinking that you're picking a side. If you critique something, you're a hater. If you praise something, you're a fan. There's no space for conversation anymore. It's all outrage or defense. And I think it's because social media rewards certainty. It's like the more absolute you sound, the more engagement you get. People don't want reflection, they want reaction. But life isn't black or white. It's gray, messy, layered. Most of the things worth talking about live in the nuance, and that's exactly what's getting lost. Like, I've caught myself shrinking my opinions online just to avoid being misunderstood, because people don't listen to what you mean. They listen to something to disagree with. And it's exhausting because nuance takes patience. And the internet just moves too fast for it. It's like everyone's sprinting to have a take before they even understand what's going on. So yeah, maybe that's why everything feels so loud and extreme online. People don't hate nuance, they just forget how to sit with it, or use critical thinking, or have functional literacy. And honestly, that's why I've been choosing to talk slower, think deeper, and stop trying to win conversations that were never meant to be had in like 15 seconds.
Yeah, social media has done the equivalent to essentially replacing oil in an engine with sand. That's the way I see it. Society has been conditioned to volunteer their entire lives, their day to day, for these big tech companies, right? These big conglomerates that we hate so much, for big daddy government, and on top of that, they're now, everyone is puppets on a string. The algorithm has hijacked their brains, and now they're just a bunch of emotional robots that don't listen. They don't listen to anyone. They don't listen to understand those around them. But all they do is they scan. They scan for words, for clues about which tribe other people belong to, so they know whether or not to attack them. That's the way of it.
We live in the most degenerate society in human history, and nobody is talking about the consequences that this will have. Pornography has become so normalized, and people don't realize that it literally changes the psyche of your brain. Look into Ted Bundy interviews when he said that the whole reason that he went and turned bad was because of pornography. They've tricked us into celebrating others' flaws and sins and glorifying it. If someone really loves you, they will criticize you. Think about your parents. Why are they constantly criticizing you? Because they love you and they want you to be better in your life. But somehow, if I respectfully tell a person that is fat, hey, maybe you should start using this diet, or maybe you should start going to the gym, apparently I'm fat phobic. And we've weaponized labels. We can't even have open discourse anymore without somebody being called racist, sexist, homophobic, you name it. But look at the statistics. Our generation has the highest rates of nearly every single mental illness. We have more loneliness going on now at a time where we can connect with anyone online than ever before. It doesn't make sense. Like, we have the most advanced technology, and yet for some reason, our society is in the worst situation it's ever been in. All the media, the music that we listen to, even our school system, it's all promoting degeneracy. Every time I go out, there's always a group of women who are being extremely disrespectful, and then they hide under the scope of like, oh, it's woman empowerment. But in general, we have more aggression towards one another than ever before. We should be loving each other, not hating each other.
Right. So adult content and social media, they're merged into the same machine now, right? If you think about Instagram and X, Twitter, whatever, they're just flooded with just sexual images, right? These thirst traps that hijack all of these simps, all of their attention, and then funnel them off the platform, right? It's all a sales funnel. It's meant to send mostly men into a world that ultimately destroys them, right? That sedates them. That keeps them not dangerous. So it's just, in this repeated exposure, it trains the brain to need this instant gratification and chase all that novelty and escalate and perversion. Really, there's this escalation. That's why OF is so effective, because it delivers something more personalized. So these simps, they become delusional and develop these parasocial relationships that get them to empty their bank accounts and hollow out their souls, along with the women they're consuming, who are also hollowing out their souls. And in my opinion, this is the worst time to be alive. People constantly say the contrary, that it's the best time to be alive, but I don't really accept that lens. I mean, I can understand why they would say that. Yeah, we do have a lot of conveniences, but I think we would be I think you could say that if we got rid of smartphones and social media. I think if the internet didn't exist, I would be able to say that. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And we are living in a very debaucherous, degenerate society. It's all of the tells of a collapsing society. We are a fallen species. There's not much left for us. We're not reproducing. Right, we're at each other's throats. We're not reproducing. We're at each other's throats. People are fighting about things that are made up that don't matter. It's just it's like, what's the point? Nothing actually matters because 99% of people are brain dead. They're brainwashed. Right? They're the R word. So why are we continuing this? It's just, like I said, people like myself, people like you, we're in a very unique prison. We're just watching it's like living in an insane asylum, this open air insane asylum, but yet we're seen as the insane ones. We're pointed at and we are ridiculed by the inmates, by the by the people that are in the straitjackets. It's crazy.
Imagine a whole people, a nation, committing self-genocide, self-extinction by their own logic. Think about it. They're dying out. They're dying out as a direct result of the way they think about life. Their philosophies, their theories, their paradigms, their enlightenment. Their enlightenment built a system, built a society, built an economic model, an approach to the economy, built an approach to life that makes them not want to reproduce. Or else makes it, they don't want to reproduce or they can't reproduce because it's too expensive. But they still think it's the right way to think. They still think it's enlightened, even while it is erasing them. Look at this madness. Tell me that's not a curse that they brought upon themselves. I told you, flawed input, flawed outcome. You adopted a doctrine of predation and destruction, and that doctrine is devouring you out of existence. And you still won't give it up. I'm telling you that what's happening in America right now was always going to happen. We just happen to live in the generation to experience it. We just happen to live in the time when the prayers of hundreds of millions of America's victims are being answered.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to end this. We are our own worst enemy. Sure, I think it's hyperbolic to say we're going to be going extinct, but if we continue down this path, we will. Thankfully, there's these cycles of history. So at some point, things get so bad, and then they reset. There will ultimately. I'm not sure if it's going to happen in our lifetime or not. Have you read The Fourth Turning? There's every 80 to 100 years, we're right there, right? So, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Leave them down in the comment section about where you think we're at in the state of America, because honestly, it's really depressing out there. It's really hard to continue on day by day, to walk out there. That's why a lot of people are they're staying at home, because it's not worth going out there, right? Amongst the crazies. All right. Well, that's my take on it. But just let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.